Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the first ever Shaggy TV. I'm like a cheerleader. This is basically the show. I talked a little bit about it during me and Tata's last video, but this is basically the show I'll be doing solo every week. My little bald-headed sidekick is no longer with me on Wednesdays. Sorry about that. He has to go off and do sidekick things. But basically what I'll be doing here is I'll be taking one of your guys' comments each week and just basically blowing it up, talking, analyze it, talk super much about it, whatever it is you guys talk about. If you guys ask me like, what is the best blood deck, or what's a really cool diamond card, or whatever, I'll just go through and I'll analyze as best I can and give you guys as much info as I can about that topic to try to give you guys something somewhere to talk about, get some info and just some cool stuff, and everybody can get excited about it. So the first thing I want to do though is talk about my awesome background and my little intro thing up here and our website right here. This is once again done by Brandon Williams, the boss he is. This video doesn't have an intro yet though. Like, we're still trying to get stuff. Our main baby is our dual video with me and John. So like, he's, I think, changing the intro for that video a little bit this week. So due to time constraints, this video won't have an intro now. It might next week. I'm not sure. So anyway, thank him so much. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for doing this. It's so awesome. The next thing I want to talk about is do a little intro myself in case you guys don't remember me or missed our first video. Basically, I'm the video person on the website for HEXTCGpro.com. I've done professional gaming for over 10 years. I've played games like Warcraft 3, StarCraft 2 professionally on MLG Pro Tour. I'm relatively new to card games though. I've only played card games for about 2 years, but I am super in-depth about esports. And so I'm super excited to bring that esport experience into Hex and kind of give you guys some analysis and stuff about decks and play styles and just how to make you a better competitive player. I've been taught by card games by really good players like John and Zach Havis and a bunch of other local players. So I'm super excited to get into Hex, and just like I did Magic and the other card games. So pretty excited. That's a little bit about me, which I hate doing. By the way, I hate talking about myself. I feel like such a douche. But, okay, that's it. I explained the show. Boom. Let's move on to the question. Let me pop it up on the screen. That's the wrong one. By Old Vash here. He left this comment from our first video. Basically, it says, "Hey guys, love the video. I'm completely new to TCGs, but I'm incredibly excited for Hex. One tip for the next video would be to blah, 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 blah tips." By the way, Vash, thank you so much for your tips. They help the show so much, but I'm not going to read it. Here's the question, though. Where is a list of reveal cards that you got from all these? And would you have any tips for someone new to TCGs and how to get a bit of experience before Hex is released? So, awesome question. These are the kind of questions I love answering because I know everyone is super, super thrilled for Hex, like I am. I know all my friends are, and it's kind of frustrating to have to wait, 3 months, 4 months, ever how long we have to wait for the alpha, / beta to come out. So, there's tons of things you can do to keep tons of games out that you can kind of keep your time, hopefully pass the time a little quicker. And then if you're a new player, these games are super, super good to kind of get you ready for Hex. Because Hex does kind of share those similarities with Magic, which me and John talked about a lot. Obviously, the first place to start is with Magic. So, actually, before I get into that, I'm going to answer your first part of the question, Mr. Vash. And, oh my gosh, this mic is in my way. And tell you where we got the cards. So we got the cards from this really cool website called hex.potionofwit.com, and you can come in here and they have PvE and PvP cards. So we just basically use this to get the card images and kind of browse over what cards we thought were really cool. So this is a website that Mr. Vash, hex.potionofwit.com. Also, every one of these links that I'll show in this video will be on the show notes. So that will be really cool. I'm going to move the mic real quick so I can actually see what I'm doing. Hopefully it doesn't be too loud. Okay, so anyway, the first thing that I suggest doing, obviously, is again, because this game shares so many similarities to Magic, one of the best things you can do if you're a new player is download Magic Duels of the Planeswalkers, which I will bring up here. And this is a pretty cool little program. I actually used it whenever I was trying to learn Magic way back in the day. Then they just released, I think, 2013 is their newest one. You can get it for Xbox, PlayStation, Steam for PC, and even on your iPad. And it's really, really cool. It's basically an arcade-style Magic game. And you can play against a computer, you choose decks. All the decks are pre-made, so there's like no deck building or stuff that goes involved. But it really does teach you the basics of Magic. You know, how to tap your mana, how to play, do combat. It's very very cool. They also have some of these really cool things. I wish I could find one. I really couldn't find one. I tried to find a video or something about it, and it was kind of hard to find. But basically, they have these really cool. No. Cool. This is messing up. Okay, they have these really cool, like, I guess they're called card puzzles or something. I'm not really sure what they're called. I can't quite remember, but they're really cool because they'll give you like a board state. So it'd be like your opponent has 2 life and 5 blockers, and you have 1 guy in play, and it's like in 1 turn, how can you kill him? And you have to use your cards and like all the cards in your hands and kind of play them in a special way to basically either kill all those guys or get a flyer out or something, or it's just really neat. Like it's a kind of a puzzly way to look about Magic, and it's really good if you're trying to learn the rules. It allows you to kind of look at the game in a different light and more of a high level way to see kind of how high level people look at their hands and can try to get that last 2 damage through or whatever. So it's really cool. Duels of the Planeswalker is really neat. The new version even lets you play with your friends, which is really cool. I think they have like a little multiplayer thing in there with like Plane Chase or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's really really cool. Definitely check it out if you're new. You can download on Steam. I think it's like $30, maybe $25, something like that. You can download it real quick. Check it out. It's super super good for new players. Also, another guy suggested the Forge, which is basically it's like Magic. It is exactly like Magic, but you just play against an AI player, and it's pretty neat. I'll show you guys. Well, I'm actually going to skip the website because I'm trying to make this kind of a short website, a short video. But I will have the link to the Forge on the website, on the show notes. So check it out, the Forge. Pretty neat little program you can use to kind of play against the AI. Again, familiarize yourself with Magic, which is going to be very important if you're new to Magic, new to Hex, or just new to card games in general, which is really cool. The third thing you can do is check out Magic Online. So like once you kind of play Duels of Planeswalker and play the Forge, you kind of get really familiar with the game, you can move on to basically Magic Online, which I actually have here. I'll show it to you really really quick. Again, trying to keep this kind of short, so I'm sorry if I'm going through this really quick. But here is Magic Online. Alright, cool. You can go in here, you can play against people, choose your decks, choose your format. Go in here and play. The interface is kind of lacking, like, it is an older type thing. I'm really surprised they haven't updated the interface yet. I know back before I stopped playing, it was in beta for a new interface, but apparently it still hasn't been out, so it's kind of odd, but whatever. It's an old program. Also, you have your deck editor here where you can build your decks, super, super cool. You can search for cards. Mana Leak. Please don't freeze me, Mana Leak. Oh my god, I'll pay 3. Okay, there it is, Mana Leak. You can put your cards up like this, check them out. That's a really bad example since that doesn't actually have text. But here, you have your Paladin, record a Paladin, all your cards. You can check them out, build decks, save your decks. Pretty default stuff from what we expect from card games, but you can go through here, do that, do your sideboard, and then go play against people. So that is Magic Online. Also, real quick, the big downside of Magic Online, the thing I hate the most about it is I go to shop here. I'll show you. If I want to buy a booster pack. This is an online game. Like this is like none of these cards are real, obviously, but the prices are the same as if you went to your local gaming store and bought them. So that's really frustrating to me. Like I feel like they should have reduced the prices since they are digital. Obviously, though, if you do get a whole set of cards, you can redeem them for real life cards. But like I would rather them just take that feature away and let us have cards at like reduced prices. But it's pretty cool. We also have to buy like event tickets and stuff to play drafts, which are $1 each. So, like here's a draft pack. It costs like basically $13 to draft. Like it's just kind of really frustrating. But that's Magic Online. Kind of the pros and the cons. The beast that is Magic Online. Awesome. Also, just another really easy thing you can do if you want to get into Hex as well is just go to your local store. I know it's not as like extravagant, it's not as fancy, but you can just go to your local gaming store and I'm sure there'll be plenty of people there that are playing Magic. Magic is by far the most popular card game in our local stores. So hopefully you guys can go there, find some people, play with them, hopefully learn the game that way. And that's how I learned it. I had some friends kind of got me into it briefly. I'm a super competitive person, so I went to my local gaming store. Everyone taught me, and I learned very, very quickly. Another cool online game that kind of just came out. It's a card game. It's made by the same people who made Minecraft, which is really cool. Is Scrolls. So I'm going to go ahead and pop on over to Scrolls here. Scrolls. This is it. It's kind of a little bit of a a mix between a card game and a. I'm gonna do a quick match here. Okay, it's basically a combination between a card game and like a tactics game. So like you have your cards pop up here. You have to choose a card to basically empower you. So that's your resources. So I'll sacrifice a card, empower myself, and then pass the turn, which I did here. And then you, once you do, get to play your creatures, which I'm trying to hurry up and do. Cool. Empower, whatever. You'll basically put them on this board, and then the creatures will attack every turn. Once their counter, this is their counter, goes down, they'll attack you, and they'll attack these little rune things, and once they go to 0, you lose the game, which is pretty neat. Like right here, we have the Ragged Wolf, just in time for this video to be cool. He can play him out. He has haste, so he'll attack this turn, which is neat. Also, instead of empowering your cards, you can just sacrifice your card and draw 2 cards. So that's how you... it's really cool. It'll kind of help people with decisions. It's a really good decision-making game. You know, whether you should empower your card, empower resources, or draw 2 cards, which is really cool. Plus, his positioning in the game is pretty neat. And then obviously, when I pass turn, he'll attack here. And if that gets to 0, it dies. I think I have to kill 3 in order to win. So it's a really cool game. Really neat kind of new game that's coming out. I think it costs $20. Also, I'll have the link for that. The store is pretty neat too, by the way. You can, when you win games, you can use the gold that you win games with and buy cards here, buy packs of cards. Also, every week there's 6 cards that are available for you to buy individually, which are kind of like singles, which is kind of neat. So that is Scrolls, pretty good game. That is Magic Online, not my broadcaster. So back to me. So that's another cool game that I like. Me and John played it a little bit when it first came out. I think he still kind of plays a little bit. It's a really neat game. It's a kind of a, it's not so much Hex, you know, like you're not going to learn a whole lot for Hex, but it is really neat because it's a kind of a decision-making game. You will learn how to, you know, make decisions, and, you know, I like it a lot. Also, if you know how to play Hex, you know how to play card games, it's just a cool card game. It kind of holds you over until the beta comes out. So, all right, so moving on, another really cool, more like real life, this is going more into real life games, is deck building games. I really like deck building games. I think anybody who's new to card games, it's a perfect place to start them. It's also, you know, kind of drafty, you know, so it kind of helps with, like, your drafting. It helps kind of picking out, learning how to pick cards, you know, like you have 5 cards laid out, you know, how to pick the best one that works the best with your deck. So then, in that way, it kind of helps you a little bit with drafting. But my 2 favorite deck building games, push back over here. My 2 favorite deck building games are DC Deck Builder, which I'll pop up here. I'll show you guys what it looks like. You know, it's obviously through the DC universe. It's really fun. It's pretty neat. Really, really easy to learn. Like, it's super, super fast. Like, you can sit down and show someone how to play this game in less than 3 minutes. It's also, ironically, made by Cryptozoic, which is really cool. So that's neat. And then the second cool deck building game I like is the Marvel deck building game. It's called Legendary. It's really cool. I actually like this a little bit better than DC Deck Builder, but I do think it's a little bit more complicated. So if you're trying to get into these kind of games, you should probably start with DC Deck Builder. But this game isn't, you know, over the top either. You know, it's not hard to play at all. But this game is really, really fun, super cool. Again, if you've never played a deck building game, they are super cool. And then I'm pretty sure anybody who knows anything about deck building games would kill me if I don't mention Ascension. But Ascension, I have actually never played it. I know my gaming group is a little negative on it. They don't really like it as much as the other deck building games, but this game is by far the most popular deck building game. It's super popular. We used to sell a ton at the store, so it is awesome game. Check it out. I guess I've heard, I don't know if personally I could tell you, but these 3 games are, I think, you know, probably the top 3 or the best 3 deck building games that I've heard of or played. So these, again, a great starting spot for you to kind of get into card games. Is through deck building games. I like them. They're awesome. They're cool. You guys got the picture. Go back to me so I can do a segue into the next thing. Okay, and then the last type of games that you guys can check out are living card games. And these games are very similar to Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and all the trading card games. The only difference is once you buy the core set, you get all the cards for the whole set. You know, some living card games are different. You know, like you might only get like 2 copies of a rare or something like that, so they make you buy like 2 sets. But most of the time, you get all the cards. So like you'll buy, the first one I'm going to talk about is Netrunner. So you buy a core set Netrunner, you get almost all the cards. You get a whole play set of the cards for like $30, $40. And that's really cool because you got to get the trading card game experience without the huge expense that goes into it. You know, like Magic is not a cheap game by any means, which is one of its huge downsides. So living card games kind of fix that by making it so you get all the cards. So it's really cool. Again, Netrunner is a really, really cool game. Probably the best living card game currently out. Go to it really quick, show it to you guys. It's really cool. It's kind of a futuristic type game. It plays completely different than Magic. It has its own kind of resource system, its own kind of action system. It's a really, really good game though. Again, I'll have the link in the show notes. The second one from Fantasy Flight as well is a Game of Thrones card game. This game is pretty cool. Again, it's nowhere near as competitive as Netrunner, but I know Game of Thrones is a hugely popular thing. I love Game of Thrones. John loves it. Like, if you're into it at all, this is another really, really good game. Fantasy Flight has tons of living card games. They are by far the best company at living card games. They have a Star Wars living card game. I think there's a couple more. So browse around their site. They're really, really neat. And traditionally, they're usually pretty cheap. So it's a really cool way to get into card games is by doing living card games. They're very, very cheap. Also, in my opinion, anytime you have cards in your hands, like anytime you play games that have cards in your hands, you learn so much for other card games. Like, no matter how much people try to deviate from card games, there's always those little similarities. And even something as small as just learning what a good card is and what a bad card is can really help you moving forward into Hex or any other card game that you want to play. So, living card games, they're really neat, super cheap. Check them out. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to talk about before we leave. Before I go to the outro, if I can get my thing popped up. I'm sorry, I'm so slow and bad at this. Cryptozoic also has a penny arcade. I think this is it's a deck building game. They also have this penny arcade deck building game, which, you know, I wouldn't buy it. Like, me personally, I wouldn't buy it. Like, it's like, I think $40, $44, something like that. It's a really, really fun game, but I would not buy it. And here's why: because you can go to the App Store, and for $5 you can just buy it on your iPhone. And it's so cool to play on your iPhone. Like, you can play on the go. It's not super complicated. It doesn't have, you know, a lot of similarities to other card games, but it's just a fun little card game to play on your iPhone, and it really will help you kind of, you know, anytime you're playing with cards, you're learning, you know, something beneficial to another card game. So having it on your iPhone really kind of helps that. If you're on a road trip or something, just jump on, play it out. And also, Ascension also has a iPhone counterpart. I also have this on my phone as well. I have both games on my phone. Play both. They're really, really cool. Check it out. This is a $5. I think the penny arcade thing is $5 as well. So I think they had a sale going on though that was like $1. They had it for $1 or something like that. So really cool game. Both games really neat. Check them out on your iPhone. I actually probably should have checked and see if they had Android counterparts, but I don't think they do. I'm probably wrong. So sorry about that if you guys have Android or whatever. But okay, cool. So that's kind of my rundown of like some ways you guys can get into card games if you're not used, or if you're not into the whole scene. You know, it's kind of intimidating at first. It might seem like it's really, really hard to get into card games, or it's really intimidating, but really it's not. Everyone who plays is super friendly, and even if you don't want to kind of play with people or play with your friends and just want to learn on your own, there's great games like Duels of the Planeswalker, all these iPhone games as well that you can just sit down and learn yourself. You know, me personally, to kind of sum things up, if you're really trying to get into Hex, just really focus on Magic the Gathering, because the game is so close to it. Obviously, there's similarities of the game, and there's also things that Hex does differently, but the core rules like combat and stuff are pretty much the same. So if you're new to Magic, if you're new to Hex, you want to get into it, please just check out Duels of Planeswalker, The Forge, Magic Online. Go to your local store, just immerse yourself in Magic, and you'll become a better Hex player because of it. So that's kind of it. Also, guys, please leave comments on the comment section below. I will read all the comments. I always do. I know Tad is setting up my profile on the website, so I'll be able to actually start replying to the comments, which is going to be really neat. Again, this is how the show works. Just leave any questions, any comments about anything Hex related, and I will pick the one that I want to talk about the most and put it in the next show, which will be next Wednesday. Also, me and Tada's show will be this Friday. We'll be doing a deck analysis on a Blood Diamond deck, which is pretty cool. Kind of a controller deck, and I think we might do another deck, but we're not sure yet. Like I said, we're trying to keep these videos a lot shorter, so doing 2 decks might be too long. So if we can, we'll do another deck, but for sure we're going to do a Blood Diamond control deck, which is pretty cool. And also, guys, thank you so much for the support. You guys have been awesome. You guys have been so much helpful. I can't explain or tell you guys how much it helps for every like, every view. It's just so awesome, guys. Thank you so much. And again, if you guys have any suggestions, any feedback about this show, like Shaggy, it sucks, it's really bad, you suck, like whatever it is, just let me know. I literally take all criticism and will do everything I can to make this show better. So, guys, thank you so much. I'm sorry, if this is too short, too long. Let me know, comments. Thank you guys so much. See you guys next Wednesday.